How did Nicki Minaj go from criticizing Trump's deportation policies in her songs to going on stage with him and saying she's his number one fan? The rapper's new alliance with MAGA politics is raising eyebrows all across the internet, but there's something even more sinister about her appearance. She's helping Trump promote a new initiative called Trump Accounts, which is supposed to help kids with their financial future. But what's the real truth behind these numbers? Nicki Minaj is one of the best-selling rap artists of all time and has long been considered the queen of rap. In years past, she's been somewhat outspoken on her political stances, including criticizing Donald Trump in her songs, but that has all changed quite dramatically in recent months. Yesterday, Nicki appeared on stage with Trump as part of a promotional event for one of his new initiatives.
Hello. Uh, well, I don't know what to say, but I will say that I am probably the president's number one fan. And that's not going to change. And the hate or what people have to say, it does not affect me at all. It actually motivates me to support him more. And it's gonna motivate all of us to support him more. We're not going to let them get away with bullying him and, the smear campaigns. It's not going to work, okay? He has a lot of force behind him, and God is protecting him. Amen.
This is part of a slew of recent conservative appearances that Nicki Minaj has made. She was also on stage with Erica Kirk, where she praised JD Vance and Charlie Kirk, and her X account recently has really showed her true colors. On X, where she has over 25 million followers, she's been posting all kinds of endorsements for the Trump administration. She's also been posting a lot of Chucky photos, which, if she's trying to compare herself to the antagonist of a horror movie, that kind of makes sense with what people are saying about her career right now. A lot of barbs, as Nicki's fans are called, as well as just pop culture enthusiasts everywhere, have been really surprised to see this heel turn from the rapper. She wasn't always such a huge Trump fan. In November 2016, she released a remix of Black Beatles called Black Barbies, and in that song, her verse included lines like, "Island girl, Donald Trump want me go home," and "now I'm praying all my foreigners don't get deported." She's also directly criticized Trump's deportation policies in the past, like in 2018 during his first administration, when she wrote, "I came to this country as an illegal immigrant at 5 years old. I can't imagine the horror of being in a strange place and having my parents stripped away from me at the age of 5. This is so scary to me. Please stop this. Can you try to imagine the terror and panic these kids feel right now?" But all of that has changed. And yesterday, she posted this image of something called Trump's Gold Card with the caption, "Welp." So, what this gold card is part of a bribery for citizenship program where people can just pay Trump a huge lump sum of money to get this gold card citizenship approval. It's a pretty straightforwardly corrupt scheme, but nonetheless, it's one that Nicki Minaj has openly participated in. And for people who have been following along with the trajectory of Nicki Minaj's career, this shouldn't come as a total surprise. In addition to those earlier appearances with people like Erica Kirk, Nicki Minaj's public persona has become a lot darker in recent years. Before she appeared side by side with Trump, Nicki Minaj has also defended her husband, Kenneth Petty, even after he was sentenced to a year of home detention for failing to register as a sex offender, dating back to an attempted rape conviction from 1995. She's also defended her brother, who was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison for raping an 11-year-old girl. In recent years, Nicki Minaj has also harshly criticized other female rappers, including Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. She's made diss tracks making fun of violence that these women have experienced. And with all of this behavior, a lot of people unfortunately weren't surprised surprised to see Nicki with Trump. But nonetheless, juxtaposing her 2010s pop persona to now is still pretty shocking, and a lot of people have made memes and poked fun at this, including pointing out that the backdrop of her photo with Trump looked exactly like this promotional shot for the Real Housewives of Potomac, and of course, highlighting the absurdity of these photos, especially this one where Trump and Minaj are holding hands and you can see her long acrylic nails juxtaposed with the foundation that he's been putting on the back of his discolored hand. Now, the event that Nicki was speaking at was a promotional vehicle for something called Trump accounts. And if this is the first time you're hearing about Trump accounts, let's dive into a little bit about what this program supposedly is. Nicki Minaj is also contributing money of her own to fund these Trump accounts. So if we go to trumpaccounts.gov, we see this promotional page that says Trump accounts jumpstart the American dream. We're building long-term financial security for millions of children by creating tax-advantaged investment accounts for US citizens under the age of 18. Basically, the way that this program is supposed to work is that the Trump administration and its financial partners will deposit $1,000 into an investment account for every American child born between January of last year and December 31st of 2028. Essentially, the entirety of Trump's term in office. And as you're scrolling through this page, it's interesting. My initial thought was that some of these might actually be AI images. It doesn't really matter, but it's just such a weird sort of display. Like, why does this child who's making lemonades just have all of these raw lemons sitting on the table? These photos are very, very odd in sort of like the appearance of them. Definitely made me wonder if there was some AI happening here. But then you get down to this infographic displaying how much money children are supposed to be making through these Trump accounts. So, according to this website, at age 18, if you just leave that $1,000 that was initially deposited in the account, the Trump administration is claiming that it'll reach up to $6,000 without the parents having to add any additional contributions. If they contribute $250 a year, they're saying that the child will have $19,000 in their account by the time they turn 18. And if you contribute $5,000 a year, which is the maximum, they're claiming that the child will have $271,000 by the time they turn 18. Then they show at age 27 and at age 55 how much you could allegedly have. Although note the small text at the bottom. Estimates are for illustration only and are based on an account opening at birth with $1,000 opening deposit derived from historical S&P 500 averages. Actual results may differ and are not guaranteed. So where is this money coming from? Well, the initial contributions come from these, quote, generous companies and philanthropists. There was a massive multi-billion dollar investment from Michael and Susan Dell, as well as investments from these companies like MasterCard, BlackRock, Uber, Visa, Charles Schwab, etc. And the way that these accounts are supposed to grow over the years is by taking these deposits and investing them in low risk funds based on the US stock market. But there's an important catch. If the stock market is performing well, then the accounts theoretically will grow. If the stock market crashes or underperforms, the accounts could actually shrink. Specifically, when you look at those infographics at the bottom, by age 55, the estimations of how much the Trump accounts are going to make shows that contributing $0 a year will supposedly get you up to $200,000. But if you've been contributing $250 a year all this time, it's actually showing that you would walk away with less, only $192,000. But all of these numbers are just estimates pulled out of thin air, anyways. We have no idea how the stock market is going to perform historically, or even necessarily what stocks will be used. If you go back to the Trump accounts page, up at the top, you can see some of the stocks that they're suggesting money will be invested into, and it includes companies like Tesla. Tesla is obviously owned and operated by Elon Musk, a close associate of the Trump administration, who's been accused of artificially inflating his stock price for years. So I wouldn't necessarily trust that these specific stocks handpicked by the Trump administration are necessarily going to perform well. And a lot of people have pointed out that this whole program feels like a way to boost the stock market at a time when it's being really badly hurt by Trump's other policies like tariffs. Plus, people don't necessarily trust something with Trump's name on it after all of the various scams and corrupt schemes that he's pulled over the years. In addition to this, zooming in on the companies that are taking part in the Trump accounts, Visa released this statement that says Visa will be working with our US financial institution partners to enable a new capability that will offer cardholders the option to direct credit card rewards into Trump accounts. Quote, it's a simple way for families to turn rewards earned on everyday purchases into savings for their children's futures. But as this user pointed out, Visa is currently facing a Biden DOJ lawsuit alleging illegal monopolization of debit card transactions, where it exploits a 60% market share to extract billions in excess revenue from merchants and consumers. Enter Trump accounts. So basically, this is bribes on top of bribes on top of bribes. You have companies like Visa injecting money into this Trump program. You have celebrities like Nicki Minaj paying Trump to earn her citizenship and curry political favor. Plus, while opening investment accounts early for your children is typically sound financial advice, this does not help everyday parents with the financial challenges that they're already facing. It doesn't help new parents with grocery bills or healthcare expenses. And this program only starts off with $1,000 in that account. The administration is suggesting that parents and eventually the child themselves will invest up to $5,000 a year into their Trump account to see these maximum gains. Most people don't have that much money on hand to be contributing to their investment accounts in the first place. And here's how the Secretary of the Treasury suggests people come up with extra cash for their Trump accounts.
To all the moms and dads out there that are watching right now, they should sign up now, right, for Trump accounts during this tax season?
We've already had, just in the past few days, 500,000 families sign up. We believe there are about 25 million who are eligible. So go on the IRS website. It's Form 4547, and everyone should do it. And it's a great way because you can also, if relatives, rather than giving a toy for a birthday, for a holiday, they can contribute to these accounts. I think we're going to see a substantial drop in people playing the lottery because you've won the lottery.
Right.
You've got $1,000, and the power of compound interest, families can add to that. So this is really a new kind of philanthropy. It is.
So basically, the Secretary of the Treasury is suggesting don't give your kids any presents for birthdays or Christmas. Just invest money into the stock market directly. And supposedly, that will benefit your child more in the long run than winning the lottery. I highly, highly doubt that. This is just another example of the Trump administration telling people what to do with their money to their own benefit versus living their lives. And Nicki Minaj is throwing her full endorsement behind this program when her own child is going to grow up in an extremely privileged way that the vast majority of Americans could never even imagine. So having already rich celebrities and corrupt members of the Trump administration endorse this program doesn't really bode well for how much value it will actually provide to everyday people. And with Nicki Minaj putting her full support behind Trump and his administration, despite all of the atrocities that have happened just this year alone, it also shows that she's alienating so much of her core fan base. Her legacy will be forever entwined with these political stances she's taking now, and that will look a lot worse in the future than whatever benefits she's managed to reap today.